Greetings, everybody, and happy Hocktober. It's Brooke from Career and Professional Development, and today I am in the beautiful but very quiet career studio in the Gengris Student Union. Thank you for tuning in and for your interest in learning what's happening with career. I'm going to talk about a few things generally career, but then I want to share with you one question that I continually hear from recruiters and other people in the industry lately. And I think it's a great question that you might want to consider as you're thinking about what the next step in your career might be, whether you are a recent grad, whether you're a longtime alum who might just be thinking about what's next, or you are advising people in your life about where their career might take them. So with that, I'm going to start sharing my screen and we can learn a little bit more about what's happening here at the Career Studio. So thanks for your patience with that. I think that it's important for you all to realize that the university has made a huge commitment in terms of providing this gorgeous space for the career efforts. We get to interact with really excited students who are looking to figure out what's next for them, enthusiastic alumni who want to support our students and share their stories, and then some amazing industry representatives who really do want to help students get to where they're going and find places for them in their companies, in their organizations. And a lot of that previously has happened here in the Career Studio. Now a lot of that is happening online. This was an event that happened here in the studio recently, and we miss the days when we can gather together and hear from people, but instead we're finding ways to do it virtually. Just as many events are happening, just very differently. So, for example, we've recruited a cohort of really excited and committed career peer mentors, and our training recently, of course, had to happen on Zoom. But each of them are prepared to help us support our students in exploring, preparing, and transitioning into careers post-graduation. So one of the things we've done recently to pivot online is engaging in online virtual career fairs and events. And the organizations you see on your screen represent some of the people we've partnered with. We actually just had a very successful virtual career fair on Tuesday with CEIA. We have another one coming up with the Connecticut Career Consortium on October 28th. It's a cyber and tech virtual fair. The National Associations of Careers and Employers is just the industry standard for best practices and sharing information about what's possible for students and employers when we come together. And then the Metro Hartford Alliance is just a fantastic economic development organization here in the greater Hartford area, and it puts us in touch with a lot of employers who want to leverage all that our students bring to the table. So no matter what we do here on campus, whether it's in partnership with our academic partners, with alums, or our student government and clubs and organizations, we want to make sure our students are all learning and applying competencies that are going to serve them well and well beyond their time here on the University of Hartford campus. So I'm not going to read them all, but I am going to share with them and give you an opportunity to see what we're talking about. So these are things we reinforce in the Career Studio. We work with academics to make sure that they also have an opportunity to practice these things in the classroom. And then we work to connect them with internships, externships, collaborative opportunities, so they can apply these, and then helps them to round out their resumes, their LinkedIn profiles, and all kinds of other personal branding opportunities that they have at their fingertips nowadays. So I am a big believer that for the most part, we see two different kinds of people coming to the Career Studio for help. There's the bonfire in the belly student, as I like to say, who knows exactly what they want to study, they know exactly what they want to do, and they just need some help navigating how to best get there. Then we have students who tend to have a lot of different interests, kind of like candles on a birthday cake, really excited about a lot of different things, but they're having a hard time understanding, how am I going to make that into a career? How am I going to apply all these different interests? How do I harness all these different interests and turn them into something that I might enjoy doing for a living? So no matter whether you're that person who's got the fire in the belly, or you have myriad interests that you're just having a hard time deciphering which one you might want to hone in on, I think post-COVID, hopefully we'll get to post-COVID, but right now, COVID has given us an opportunity to apply a lot of these skills, whether we realize it or not. And I think it's a terrific way for us to think about, what would you say to someone you are networking with, someone you're having an informational interview with, or actually maybe even an interview. I think it's really important to prepare yourself for this one question, because I think it can illustrate a lot about what you bring to the table, how you spend your time, and what's important to you. And that question is, what have you been working on? It's broad, it's general, and you could really take this in so many different directions. And that's why I want people to be really thoughtful about, how would you answer a broad-based question like this? I think it's really telling. And I think I'm going to give you some prompts that will help you figure out how you might want to answer this one question. Because how you answer this question really could make the difference about what that next step is in meeting the right people, getting connected with the right people, or perhaps getting that second interview. So let's not forget that COVID has allowed a lot of people to do a little bit more reading and maybe even some research into a topic that you're interested in, or you didn't even know you were interested in. How have you been connecting with organizations that mean something to you, and how have you been reaching out about that? Have you become an ally for an organization? Did you do an online fundraiser? How have you been participating and connecting with community when, being together wasn't really an opportunity that, was available to much of anybody? Did you work out? Were you thinking about meditation and how to keep yourself positive and staying connected with people and supporting family members and friends who might have been struggling? Those are all skills that you can apply. They're transferable skills. So don't forget that you might feel like you might not have been doing something related to your career during all of this, but you likely were when you look at it through a different lens. What were you doing in your community? Maybe you were helping a food bank. Maybe you were doing a community cleanup. Maybe you were delivering things to seniors. Don't forget that all of these things demonstrate a lot about who you are, what you care about, and what you're capable of. And then, of course, there's just the whole idea that you're an interesting person who does things outside of your career. And how have you leveraged or perhaps started hobbies and interests? I, for example, our family started a garden, a vegetable garden. I've been a perennial and a flower gardener for a long time, but we actually started to grow our own food. Learned a lot, built a garden from scratch, did a lot of research about what things were going to work best, soil type, you name it, and became more interested in a few issues that the family decided we were going to explore together. So don't forget about these things and how they play out. I think people you're going to interview with, network with, are going to be interested in you, how you've spent this odd time of COVID. But I think they'll also have some takeaways about how you can apply those skills and your energies to perhaps an opportunity that presents itself from a career perspective. So I think this also comes into play when you are talking about building your personal brand. In addition to that one question I just posed, I think it's really important for people to sit back and think about, what is what I'm doing saying about myself? And I'm going to share with you a few prompts that I think are going to be really helpful in getting you to hone in on what your personal brand is. And some of you might already feel as though you have one, but you want to shift. You're looking for that next thing. So whether you're new to kind of developing a brand, or it's something that you just think you might want to refresh and rebuild, I think these questions will be helpful for you. Don't forget to ask yourself about what you're passionate about. We all know people who have a job and it has nothing to do with what they're passionate about. It pays the bills and that's just fine. But I think it's important to also talk about things that really get you excited, that really motivate you. Kudos to those of you who have a job that actually embraces your passion. I think that's terrific. But not everybody has that. And so you have to find a way to kind of work that into your personal brand, whether that's on social media, whether that's how you introduce yourself at events, and what you say about yourself when you're reaching out to someone for a job or to connect with them just in general. And you all bring unique skills. What are those? I like to untie things, things that are knotted that people would normally throw away. I have a lot of patience with. It's a weird skill, but it's a unique skill, and I can unknot almost anything. It's an interesting thing to bring up at a meeting or in a small group conversation. And it really does reflect, I think, what I have, which is some patience with a project that sometimes feels like it's never ending and unsolvable. So I share that with you to maybe give you a prompt about talking about and thinking about what your unique skill might be. What do people think about you? How do you want people to think about you? And then doing things that reinforce that. It sounds simple, but I think sometimes our actions and our desires are counterproductive. So really sit back and think about that and make some really concerted efforts to live and demonstrate what you stand for and how you want to be known. And then who are you reaching out to? If it's worth reaching out because you want a job or you want a new job or you want to pivot in your career, who are the people you're going after? It's probably not the people you're working for now. It's probably a different kind of company or a different kind of boss, a different kind of industry. So be really thoughtful about who you're reaching out to. If you are going to be leaving the corporate world and you want to move to academia, then people in academia are the people you want to reach. It's really important to be mindful of that, and that you're going to have to think differently about yourself, talk differently about yourself, and reach out differently. I am a big believer that LinkedIn is one of the best places to help build and reinforce your brand. This is a screenshot of mine. I am in LinkedIn multiple times every day. I actually ask most of our students to link in with me if they want to have a meeting or to talk. I could then see that they've basically got something along the lines of a resume. I can find out what their experience is, and we can use this as a platform to jump off. As many of you alums who are online might know, we have a really great alumni network here at the University of Hartford, and we're finding that our network on LinkedIn is growing and growing and growing, and we always welcome alums who want to come and share their stories. And that could be a story of, I started as an accountant. I love being an accountant. I would love more people to be an accountant. Let's talk about being an accountant. To people who said, I graduated, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And then I found myself in, performing arts management. And we'd love to hear those stories. So your story of success and your story of struggle and even your stories of failure are really important for our students to hear. So please reach out to me on LinkedIn, and perhaps we can get you in front of some of our students. I know it would be really meaningful to them. So some ideas I have around LinkedIn can be summed up best by using the phrase 3-2-1. LinkedIn can feel like I'm going to start my profile, I'm going to put all my experience in there, and then people leave it alone. It really is a much more dynamic tool than that, and it needs to be tended to on the regular. And so I think of 3-2-1 as something that should be done every week on LinkedIn. I'm not always successful. I try this. It's something to aim for. And you could do it monthly too, but I think if you're especially in a time of transition, that weekly is probably a better approach. So each week, I'd like for each of you to consider inviting 3 people to connect. And that can be someone you met recently on a Zoom meeting. It can be someone that you used to work with. It can be someone who has a career that you aspire to, and you happen to know them because you both have a similar friend. 3 people help you grow your network. It's really important. It's not a static. LinkedIn should not be static. It should be dynamic, and you should be reaching out and hearing from people. When you connect with them, you're going to see what they post. You're going to see what they comment on. You're going to hear what they think is important. That's really where the richness of LinkedIn, I think, comes into play. So for all those people you're connected with, comment or post, share at least twice, 2 things that resonate with you about what they have said, about what they are sharing and what they're commenting on. It doesn't have to be a long comment. It can just be something like, hey, Sue, really loved what you shared about the ideas of moving from your career in automotive sales to software sales. You know, great to see that you saw those skills transferring easily. And if software sales is something you're interested in, someone else in software sales might see your comment, and you might see theirs, and it might prompt you to connect with them. And then here's, I think, where a lot of people get hung up is create one original post. Talk about something you're interested in. Talk about an experience you've had at work or in school that you think is relevant to your personal brand, and you think other people might be interested in reading. The first few are always the hardest, but I think you'll find that once you get in the habit, and it really is a habit, tending to your LinkedIn really needs to become a habit. I think you'll find it a lot easier, and you'll find that other people will model the way for you. You know, being really cognizant when you see a LinkedIn post that resonates with you, what was it that resonated with you, and how could you perhaps emulate that until you get a feel for your own style and posting down the road. So I'd love to invite you again to engage with UHart Career. We have a great team here. You'll see 2 people on the screen, Matt and Lanisa, who recently co-hosted a book event with the alumni office. We just are so excited. We can only do so much here in this office for all of our students and alums who want to engage with us. So we would really love to hear about you and your stories. So you can reach out to us on a variety of social media platforms. And having you come into the studio when we're back to in studio, or having you on a Zoom call, or perhaps just opening yourself up to networking, or perhaps mentoring some of our students in an area that's comfortable for you would really make a difference. And we do so appreciate all the support that we get from alums, from our employers, from our faculty, you name it. But the fact that you tuned in today, wanting to know a little bit more about what we're doing here in Career really means a lot. Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and go Hawks.